Hi, welcome to Vinyasa Vida. Today I'm feeling super inspired to talk to you about colds and flu. And I'm not just going to talk to you about flu survival. I want to talk to you about flu thrival. Yes, that is a new word that I made up. I can do that. See, the flu is actually your friend and not your foe. People really get freaked out about the flu and we run out and we get vaccinated, or or if we do get the flu, we go buy some over-the-counter medication or run to the doctor and they give us this medication that we think is going to make us better. But in reality, it's actually just stifling something very important that the body's wanting to do. And in the end, you're gonna have to pay the price for that later. Let me explain a little bit about why we even get the flu. Viruses, we all worry about catching a virus, but actually you're living with thousands of viruses in your body every day, and they remain inactive most of the time. Sometimes I think some viruses must be a little more strong than the others, but what these viruses do is they find a cell and they get inside the cell, and they're protein splitters. They're able to make copies of themselves once they're inside the cell. And then there's more and more and more, and they bust out of the cell and they kill the cell as they do this, because that was the host. They end up killing their host, and then they go running amok trying to find more cells to infiltrate. So you could almost classify them as a parasite, really. But the problem is that what people don't realize is that these viruses are not attacking healthy cells. They're going to go for the weak cells. Think about an animal hunting in the wild. Are they going to go for the fastest, strongest cell, or the fastest, strongest prey? No, they're going to look for the weak ones. That's going to be an easy target, and that's exactly what these viruses do. So in a way it's good, because you don't want a whole lot of weak cells in your body, and so this process kind of purges those out. Your strong cells keep going. So I guess the real question would be, though, is what happens? Maybe some of us have too many weak cells, and so this virus is able to just proliferate and proliferate, just flying from cell to cell to cell. So you want to ask yourself, why? Why are there so many weak cells in the body? And there's pretty much one reason for this, and that would be related to our lymph system. Like everything I talk about is related to the lymph system. Our lymph system, it runs throughout our entire body. It makes up 70 to 75% of the fluids in our body. And so this lymph system needs to be flowing freely and not dirty and clogged up like sewer pipes that would need a plumber to come out and clean them out, or they're not going to function properly. And all of our organs and glands and cells are bathed in this lymphatic fluid. So when this fluid is not flowing, the cells are just marinating in this acidic pus mucus mess where things are growing and bacteria is feeding, and it's not a good situation for the cell. And so the cell becomes weakened because acids, this is an acid lymph system. When you have all this material and sludge in there, it's acidic. When these acids are bathing these cells, they're gonna weaken and they're not gonna function properly, and it makes them an easy target for viruses. Okay, so if this happens, the body is just saying, hey, it's time to clean house. It initiates this purging cycle. If you had a house, and for whatever reason you weren't keeping it clean, and it was just getting dirtier and dirtier all the time, to the point that one day the house itself says, hey, we've got a problem, we've got to fix this. We're getting just dirtier, and this is not a good, healthy situation. So the house itself calls in a cleaning team to come take care of the mess. Now, it's an awesome cleaning team. These people know their stuff. They're gonna come in and they're gonna just sweep the whole place out, just make everything shiny, new, perfect again. But when they arrive, you're like, this is annoying. It's inconvenient for me. I can't walk around all these people. They're interrupting my day. They're interrupting what I'm doing. So you push them back out again. Push that cleaning team out. Did the house get cleaned? No. Did you just do a good thing? Not as far as your house is concerned. And so it goes with our bodies. Sometimes we're not taking care of them. We get an acidic, slushy mess going on in our lymph system. The cells become vulnerable and weak. A virus is able to come in, and a purge begins in the body. So when that happens, we need to not fight that. So I'm not going to talk to you today about flu survival. I'm going to talk to you about flu thrival. I'm going to show you 5 ways to help you thrive through colds and flu. The first tool in your flu thrival kit is going to be watermelon. This is the perfect food for your body when you are trying to flush and clean out your lymph system, which is exactly what's going on when you have the flu. So you're gonna take this watermelon and you're gonna eat it, and you're gonna keep eating it until this is passed. And the reason that this watermelon is so good is because the kidneys are actually the doorway to the lymph system. Everything, all that lymph has to filter out through the kidneys, and if they're not functioning properly, then it's just gonna back up in the body, and it's not gonna leave the body, and that's a problem. And so watermelon is a great kidney flusher. I can't think of a better one, really. So maybe you live in a colder area, it's wintertime, you can't get watermelon year round. I understand that that's a problem, but in that case, I would just go to eating any kind of fruit. Just eat fruit, because fruit it's lymphatically cleansing. It's not going to create an acid response in the body. Eat all the fruit you can. Don't eat cooked food during this time, because cooked food is going to cause a mucus response, it's going to cause an inflammatory response in the body, and this is just going to clog up the lymph, and it's going to slow down what your body is trying to do. So, tool number 1, watermelon or all fruit until you are through it. Let's go to the next one. You may already be thinking, fruit, that's not giving me a whole lot to go on. It's not going to take care of how I'm feeling, all my discomfort and misery. But just hold on, I have more for you, okay? One of the big problems during a cold or flu is that you have trouble breathing, especially at night. You can't sleep. And so what you would want to do that's going to make that a lot easier is to pick up, if you don't already have one, essential oil diffuser. And this is going to work wonders for you at night. All you have to do, you fill it up to a certain part. There'll be a line where you fill it up to with water. And then you're gonna add some essential oil, and the oil that I would use, you could use peppermint too, I would think, but eucalyptus is gonna be great for breathing. So all I have to do is drop a couple of drops in, 2 to 3 drops, and then I'm gonna turn it on, and that's gonna help break up that hardened mucus and stuff that's trying to make it out of your body. Okay, so that's tool number 2 in your flu thrival kit. Let's get on to number 3. All right, are you ready for more? The next 2 things I'm going to show you kind of go together because they're going to be addressing fluid intake, which you are going to need a lot of. And I'm going to throw this in here. It's not, I guess you might have a fever with the flu, or this is just in general, especially like if kids get fevers. People really freak out about that. They run off to the doctor and get something to stifle it. And a fever is your friend too. You know, as long as you stay hydrated and you are just pouring water into that body with a fever, there's really nothing to worry about. It's when we don't hydrate during a fever, that's when there can be problems. And the same with the flu. The only people that really need to worry about dying from the flu are the people that are trying to stop the body's processes. That's when you need to be scared. The body knows what it's doing. This is a natural thing, and we don't need to fear it. We want to work with it and not against it. Okay, so the next 2 things we're going to do, they're both going to be a drink that you can make. The first one being the Master Cleanse Lemonade. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. It's going to give you energy, and it's also, lemons are so astringent, and it's just going to pull that mucus right out of you, okay? So, I'm going to cut up this lemon right here. Well, first of all, I have some water in a pan. You don't want to get this water too hot. Lemons contain a lot of very helpful enzymes, and if the temperature is above about 105 degrees or so, then they start to die. And we don't want to kill the enzymes, but we want it warm enough to be effective, because the warm water does play a part in this. So I'm going to turn on the water while I'm preparing this. Turn it on not too high. Cut the lemon up. I'm going to go ahead and juice the whole lemon into a glass. As much as we can in there. Don't measure. Some people might want to measure 1 tablespoon of lemon, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, or you can just squeeze as much as you can out of there and guess with the maple syrup. Some people like more, some people like less. So I have to give a quick lesson about maple syrup. There are usually 3 grades that you can find, grade A, grade B, and grade C. And people probably have the impression that grade A is the best, but really that is the first tap of the tree. So if you can get a grade B or even C, I was able to get C, organic grade C in Germany for a really reasonable price, and I missed that now that we're back in the States. So here I just have grade A, organic. This has a ton of minerals in it. It's gonna be so helpful. It's gonna give you energy. So we're gonna add maple syrup to the lemon juice, and I'm just gonna guess, usually go about half and half, okay? Maple syrup in there. And the last thing that we're gonna put in before we add our water is some cayenne pepper. And cayenne is optional if you really don't think you can handle it, but it does help to open up just your blood vessels. It expands capillaries and stuff. It's a good thing to have when you have the flu. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in, not a lot. You can build up and use more and more if you want. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and pour this water in here. And I probably don't really need to stir it. Okay, so I have this warm lemon water drink, and it's really gonna help move things along in your body. It's going to help it and not stifle the processes. Fourth tool also involves a warm drink, and I'm gonna show you how to make a tea with, it's going to be an herbal tea, and we're going to use peppermint. This is my second attempt at this video. The first time I was making it, we had a little, not a fire, but the doorbell rang, the phone rang, and I threw this bag onto the stove. Anyway, start over. So I'm going to put, I'm not going to measure, but you could do about 3 tablespoons of this dried peppermint leaf into some water. And we're just going to turn the water on to boil. Okay, and I let that water and that peppermint infuse together. Okay, so peppermint is a great go-to for colds and flu. It's actually also antispasmodic, which means that it's going to help in coughing situations. But I'm going to show you something else we can do for that in a minute. So what I'm going to do now, have my infused with peppermint water here, and I'm going to just strain that into a cup. And that's really all you have to do. Okay, so what I would do is I would rotate between these 2 drinks every hour, and drink this 1 hour, then the peppermint tea the next, and that is going to give your body plenty of hydration that it needs to move along with the process it's going through, and it's going to provide you with a little bit of energy, and especially the peppermint tea with some relief for aches, pains, coughs. So that is tool 3 and 4 in your flu thrival kit. 1 more to go. So probably the best thing you can do for yourself if you have a cold or flu is to rest. This one is actually my favorite. I know moms especially are really busy with their kids and sometimes think they can't stop their life, or maybe you have a super demanding job, but you really just need to take the time to stop and rest. Listen to your body and do what it's asking, because if you don't, and if you push through it when it's trying, when it's trying desperately to purge itself, then you're gonna pay a higher price later. So, moms, if your kids are old enough, have them take care of you. If not, get someone to take care of them or you, and take the time to rest. I hope that these have all been helpful tips of ways that you can manage the flu naturally and working with your body and not against it, so that you can come out on the end stronger and healthier than you were before. That's all for today. See you later.